Hello.
Hello. So we have a newer, I guess, panel guest to you guys for at least my panels. She was on the other night when we did the other night,
The other.
last night when we celebrated 100 subscribers. Thank you all. That's amazing. I'm super excited. And I actually just did my custom URL today. So it'll be a little bit easier to find my channel. You can just tell everybody, just go to youtube.com/PickleMay and I should show up. So it's been a crazy day. But yes, the coffee/banana milkshake to my right is Maria Rose, one of my moderators. And my fellow law nerd. So
I'm a banana. I figured out the snap cam, guys.
she's super excited about this, y'all. She was really bummed when she couldn't figure it out the other night, and so she's been bound and determined to figure it out. She's figured it out. Now we might have a problem. Let me say hi to who's in chat. We have Reagan. I saw JC with her eyes in the chat early. Hi, JC. And hi, JC's kiddos. Megan. Hi, Meg. April. Hi, Grace Case. So, how was your Monday, Maria?
Good. It was good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, it was good. Busy. My kid had a thing tonight, and so I literally just got home about 15 minutes ago or so.
I was wondering because earlier, like, this, and I'm like, where did she go? Like, all of a sudden, Maria's just done disappeared. So,
I did. But I came back in time, and I have notes. Ooh.
yes, I'm so excited. So, for those of you that don't know, I've been, this case was recommended to me to look at, or I should say cases, because honestly, there's a whole lot in this. Like, it's like a surprise box. Things are just popping left and right. Sorry, I'll comment on this in 1 second. But when it's been brought up to me, I'm just kind of like, well, I want to dive into it, but since I haven't yet, I might as well do it as like a reaction because I haven't taken that rabbit hole yet. So might as well do it with everybody else. So that's what we're gonna do. We listened to the first 2 episodes, and I had to stop myself because the crime person that I am, I wanted to just binge and just keep going and going and going and going and going because that's just the way I am. But it didn't happen because I'm like, nope, I'm going to react with everybody else. So, hi, Kirsten.
It is addictive to just keep listening because the episodes are actually pretty short compared to a lot of podcasts. They're pretty short, so it's easy to just sit there and keep listening to one after the next. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think for next week, just because I think right now currently there's currently 30, 32 or 33 episodes. So I think for next week, since they are so short, we'll probably do like 3. Because I feel like you can get through that pretty easily in a week.
Yeah.
and it gives me more to be able to listen to. But yeah, hi Jenny. How are you? Kirsten, I think I said that already. I am banana. Oh, and Orange, you glad she is not a banana? Oh wait, she is. She had other bananas lined up, by the way.
I got more. I'm so excited. But this is serious, so I could only show it for a minute.
She goes, earlier, I'm like, when she was telling me about her notes, I was like, well, you can come on panel. And she goes, okay, but only if I can try out my banana. She's really excited about that banana, y'all. And since she's since she showed that one, I'll show the new one that I found that I will use, not for this stream, but in future streams.
I'm so excited.
Yes! This would be the gamer potato. His little neon sign. Or she. So yeah. Fun stuff. Just
that
happening
one is so awesome.
All over the place. Hi, Stella. Yeah. So we're just hanging out. Yes. Kirsten brings up a good point. My part for my computer came today. So we will now take a 30-second pause. We don't need to take 30 seconds, but there will be no more mouse. Sorry, guys. The mouse. I let Stella get the mouse. The mouse is gone. Yeah. Oh, hi, Jersey.
She killed it. It's gone forever.
The mouse is gone forever. Thank the heavens for that. Stella, you gonna come say hi?
Oh,
okay.
Come on. She is. Look at her. She's like, I'm trying, Mom. I'm trying.
Say hi.
Look at that. Stella.
Yeah, those are my headphones. Look,
Stella. Stella. Oh, you're muted. She touched it.
You can't touch that, Stella. These thumbs get her into trouble.
Is that her purring?
Mm-hmm. Can you hear that?
I heard it for a moment. Yeah, I did.
What's that? No. You're going to mute us again. Okay.
She's so cute.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, goodbye, Mouse. Hello, kitty.
I have a feeling she'll probably be sitting right about here for a little while. She sees me on the computer and she thinks she needs to be involved. So, yeah, she's crazy. I also just found this belongs on my cord, and someone got to the end of it, which would be that one. So. Have cats, they said. Adopt cats, they said. It'll be a great time, they said. Which it is, most times, but... All right. So, was everybody able to listen to the first 2 episodes? Do we want to recap? It was a lot. The first episode kind of gave you a general of everything. And then we start dipping in on Stephen's case, which I've been told it all just gets crazy, even to this day. So I'm pretty excited. No, nothing is safe around cats. Nothing. They hide things. They take things. They're crazy. But... I did find the 2 first episodes The writer of it, her name is Mandy Matney. She works for Fitz News, like an independent news journalist. And unlike KJ, she's actually a journalist. Very good one. Apologies to anybody that may have thought her voice was a little Valley Girl and or annoying. I've been told it gets better. My husband hates it and has said that I might have to listen to it alone because he really hates it. But you know, um, I didn't pay that much attention to it just because I was so enthralled in the case in general, and
Mm-hmm.
I told this to JC. Um, knows a lot about this, and I was telling her like it kind of gave me a little bit of Andy Griffith vibes from like growing up. Just that when I would hear the 911 calls, I guess it just made me think of that. And so
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of that,
absolutely.
a lot of
Mm-hmm.
good old boys shenanigans, and yeah, some craziness. Hi, Stacy. So, what I thought I could do is I thought I could just read the little blurb and then play the trailer that she actually has for the podcast, just so that if people on the replay haven't had a chance to listen to it, they can kind of get a gist of it and maybe pique their curiosity going forward. Um, I'm really excited for the future because this is a lot of crazy, a
Oh,
lot of
it
twists and
is.
turns, a lot of just so. Megan, I don't mind her voice. I like her so far. I mean, it is
Her
what it
vo-
is for me. I
yeah,
don't know.
same. I mean, it's a voice. I'm just paying attention to the details, you know, I'm like got my notepad.
Yeah.
I'm like pausing it, writing down stuff so I don't forget it.
Yep. I mean, I guess maybe I'm just not as sensitive to that, or I just don't pay attention. Because, I mean, you and I have listened to plenty of like court trials at the same time, and
Yeah.
the voices you can hear on some of those,
Or can't
man,
hear.
or can't hear you.
We may watch a lot of Nick Rekieta and all the other lawyers on YouTube and they're
If
commenting
there's a
and
big trial going on, poor Jersey, like she doesn't like she can't even catch up with us sometimes because Maria and I are just like boom, 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 boom,
like,
boom, boom,
oh
boom,
my
boom.
god, did you see that? Did you hear what he said? He is so whatever. He's so dumb. Or oh my god, I can't believe he said that.
And we're getting mad like in a group chat being like, object, object. Why aren't you objecting? Just do it. So yeah, so what I'll do is I'll bring up the trailer.
I have to say, I feel so. My heart goes out to Steven's mom.
I know.
Oh my goodness! Like just the first two episodes, especially the second one, and hearing all that information, I'm like, oh. And she sounds like such just a really nice, sweet mom, and just you know, oh.
Yep. Okay.
I don't know who killed Paul Murdaugh. I don't know who killed Maggie Murdaugh.
Hampton County 911, where's your emergency? This is Alec Murdaugh at 4147 Moselle Road. I need the police to answer immediately. My wife and child just got badly.
I don't know who killed Stephen Smith.
The rumors that's going around Hampton that everybody keeps coming up to me and saying it was Murdaugh boys.
This name, people associated with this name have been going around kind of threatening or putting the heat on people, saying, keep your mouth closed if you heard something, whatever. Buster was on our radar long before you were.
I don't know what happened to Gloria Satterfield.
4147 Moselle Road.
What's going on out there?
My housekeeper has fallen and her head is bleeding. I cannot get her up.
But I think I know who killed Mallory Beach.
There's 6 of us and 1 is missing.
And what started out as an investigation into her death snowballed into what's shaping up to be one of the biggest crime stories of the century, with one man in the middle of it all.
You all know Alec Murdaugh?
Oh, yeah, I know that name.
That's his son.
That's so driving the boat.
Good luck.
Somebody stopped to help me, and when I turned my back, they tried to shoot me. Did they actually shoot you, or they tried to shoot you? They shot me.
He's a 100% full-blown coward, and he's going to abuse and use the legal system in our state. And he appears to have lawyers willing to help him do it.
Listeners, follow along with Matney's reporting in real time from South Carolina as her exclusive sources guide audiences on a journey to the truth.
Crazy. That whole I feel like even in my state, I originally am from a very small town, so I understand the small town politics to that extent. But like, even with some of our recent local stuff, if you know somebody that knows somebody, or if you come from the right family, I mean, you don't have usually any problems in life. It seems Jersey guilty of everything. Just my opinion.
mean, I'm going to wait to say guilty or not guilty, but I'm leaning more one way than the other at the moment.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Hi, Sue Elliott.
Hi, Sue.
Lawyers, bankers, judges. Yeah. Just crazy.
And judges.
Let's see here.
I have all of those in my family. I was born and raised in a small town in Kansas. And so, yeah, I have lots of family members that no one's like killing people or anything like that. Just gonna put that out there. But there's judges and lawyers and bankers. There's been some that have been mayors of some small towns there and run for political office and stuff and all these other things. So yeah. So I understand the small thing too. Small town thing. Excuse me.
Yeah. And I mean, you can't, how do I put this? Everybody knows your business sometimes even before you do, I feel like, in small towns.
Yes, they do.
But yeah. So this kind of all, I guess, technically begin with Mallory Beach's death from the boat crash, which happened in 2019. Their son, or the Murdaugh's son, Paul, was intoxicated and driving that boat that killed 19-year-old Mallory Beach. And then, which he was charged with 3 felonies, but he never spent any time in jail. So, and then I feel like a lot of it kind of just took a turn when then Paul and Maggie, which would be Alex Murdaugh, the kind of the center of all of this, when they were killed. So, and according to the first episode, he has an ironclad alibi.
I have thoughts on that. Just
yeah, I do quick. Too.
I mean, like, that is really hard to have an ironclad alibi. I mean, I don't know. Like,
but is it ironclad when it involves your family and they're probably just going to lie for you too?
Exactly. Like, I wouldn't call it ironclad. I would just say he has an alibi, but holes can be poked in it, and I don't think it's ironclad. I just don't.
And not only that, but like he does eventually become the person that discovers the bodies. So you have to look at timing. When did he supposedly leave his mom? How long is that time period, and what road does he normally travel to get to that cabin? Like, if it's ironclad, but it only takes 15 minutes, and you say you weren't there till this time, like, there's very easy ways to poke hole in a timeline.
Yeah, and she gives times in the first episode of like the time he, I guess, supposedly was like finished with his mom and left, and then when he discovered the bodies, and I'm like, that's not enough time, especially with kind of the area they were in. Like, he would have to drive probably a good 15 minutes, I would think, and it was at nighttime, so he's probably driving a little bit slower because the roads aren't going to be lit up. Like, there's just so many factors, and I'm just like, there's no way. To me, there's always a way, but I just don't think his family is. I don't think it's ironclad.
And I guess I've never been to South Carolina, so I don't know the roads there, but I know, like, when we went to Smoky Mountains and we ventured into North Carolina, there's a lot of mountain roads. So, I mean,
I've lived in North Carolina, actually, and I used to go see a friend of mine in South Carolina, and I would get lost in South Carolina if I didn't go just straight exactly to the roads. My friend would, like, tell me, hey, turn left here at this street, then make a right, then you'll find the McDonald's on the left, kind of thing. I would get lost, and there's like hardly any lights anywhere. So it's just, I can see it, like, the timing, and the the roads going up and down, just like,
Yep. JC says where these happen is near the coast bordering Georgia. Okay. And I've heard that it's kind of like, so it talks about
you should come on, JC. Sorry, is that mine?
I gave her a link.
Take the link, because you know what? I know you've gone ahead, but still.
Yeah. She's got kiddo duty at the moment, but she might pop in if she can.
Okay.
So we'll see. But so it talks about how Hilton Head is like close, but that it could just, you would think it's a million miles away because of like how different the society is, I guess, in that area. So
I might look it up on a map, to be, like Google Maps, that like zoom in as much as I can just to see what the road itself looks like, and like, I don't know, because I'm really curious if the distance is short, like what kind of road is it? I don't know. I think I'm kind of curious.
The first one is an hour from Hilton Head.
Okay.
So And then I'll pull up. Oh, so one big thing, I think in a lot of this is all the conflict of interest between just the fact that this family seems to be kind of the law in that area.
Oh, yeah, sounds like it. Mm-hmm.
To the point where, like, nobody wants to talk. Nobody wants, they're probably scared for what the consequences could be. If this family is as powerful as it appears to be, like, I wouldn't talk. Sorry. Like, no.
I mean, I'd move away and change my name, and then I'd talk. Get legal representation, maybe some security, and then maybe I'd talk.
JC said it's like a 2-lane highway. Is it real mountainous? Is
it paved, or is it like, is some of it paved and there's like some of it's like a dirt road? But even the 2 lanes at nighttime are very dangerous, and deer and other animals that can jump out, not necessarily jump out, but even if they get close to the road, they kind of freak you out a little bit because it's dark and you may be the only car. And yeah, maybe I'm thinking too much about it.
Well, and then so the current solicitor, he was handpicked basically by this family, and he followed other Murdaughs into this position. Not only that, but Alex Murdaugh had a volunteer solicitor position, and
is he still in that position? I don't remember her saying if he was still in that same Alec. It's Alec or Alex?
Alec. I think it's
Alec.
Alec is how it's pronounced. It's spelled like Alex.
Okay.
You're all good, Jenny. But I don't. So I might have done an accidental spoiler when I was looking up some other information to find some pictures. I don't think he has it at this present time. At the time that this was recorded, he might have.
Okay. Yeah, see, I haven't gone any further than just listening to the podcast. I haven't gone any deeper than that.
I haven't either. Other than I saw when I was looking up on Fitz News, which is where Mandy works, there was something that popped up about something, and I'm like, ooh, interesting. I didn't read it though, so I'm like, nope, don't click on that. JC says they pronounce it Alec, but it's spelled like Alex.
I almost thought it sounded like Ehrlich. I think her voice, I can tell that she's been talking a lot, so I don't know, I thought it was Ehrlich, and I'm like, I don't think that's it. So I had to look it up. I'm like, yeah, that's not it.
That cracks me up. Jenny went to a staff meeting as a potato today. That's great. They have more potato options, by the way, Jenny. I was playing with that earlier today. So
you have to go with the headphones and the whole background and everything. You roll up in that meeting like that, you own it. It's cool. They said, oh no. They said it was creepy.
Yeah. Which
oh my goodness.
I still salute you for doing it.
Yeah.
And there might be some confusion because I've never heard of, I've heard of it, but it's not used in my state as far as the term solicitor. We call it a DA or district attorney. Basically, it's the prosecutor. So they're in charge of all criminal crimes in South Carolina, or in that county anyway. So they're JC actually sent me a good description of it earlier. Circuit solicitor says a South Carolina circuit solicitor is an elected official, and I'm gonna just say elected in quotes with this because it sounds like they weren't elected necessarily, who's responsible for overseeing the prosecution of criminal cases in South Carolina. Other states refer to the same position as the district attorney. The circuit solicitor ensures prosecutions are processed by organizing an orderly, just, and efficient flow of cases, assigning cases to attorneys, advising attorneys on the cases assigned, monitoring the status of pending cases, and supervising personnel. So there's that. And then while we talk about, I guess, the first episode, if you guys want, there is a video of the full 911 call when Maggie and Paul were found dead. There's only a clip in the podcast, but I did find the full one. So if you guys want to hear that, I just let me know in chat and I can play that. Otherwise, I'll just put it on like the pictures from episode 1, so you guys can kind of see a visual of who's who, what's all happened, and kind of little bullet points of that. So,
how long is the 911 call?
7 minutes.
Okay.
I don't know that. I mean, I can speed it up, and I don't know that we necessarily have to listen to all 7 minutes. I don't know. I didn't listen to it ahead of time. I just found it. So.
Okay. I mean, I guess we could listen. We could probably listen to it, because then you would get to hear, the
full.
Yes, you get to hear what's going on, and like, I don't know, maybe get a feel for.
I want to know if like his tone changes, like in his voice.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a dead giveaway.
Because I haven't listened to the whole thing, so.
Hampton County 911, where's your emergency?
This is Alec Murdaugh at 4147 Moselle Road. I need the police and the ambulance immediately. My wife and child have been shot badly.
Okay, you said 4147 Moselle Road in Arlington?
Sir?
You said 4147 Moselle Road in Arlington?
Yes, sir. 4147 Moselle Road.
Stay on the line with me, okay? Yes, sir. Stay on the line with me, okay?
Hello?
I'm still here. Stay on the line. I'm still here, okay? Carlton, I have an Alex Murdaugh on the line, caller from 4147 Moselle Road. He's advising that his wife and child was shot. Mr. Murdaugh, go ahead and talk to Carlton.
It's 4147 Moselle Road. I've been up to it now. It's bad.
Okay.
Cornichon Communications.
Carlton, I have an Alex Murdaugh on the line, caller from 4147 Moselle Road. He's advising that his wife and child was shot.
Okay, and sir, give me the address again.
It's 4147 Moselle Road. I've been up to it now.
So I'm assuming, I'm just going to pause it just in case, but I'm assuming this would be like the front gate area to the home. I've seen this picture a couple times in the podcast video as well. So, I mean, it's definitely a wooded area for sure.
So did the call drop, or he hung up and then he called back? I guess that's what it sounded like to me, or did it just go quiet? Because it sounded like,
I think it goes quiet sometimes when they're like patching other people in.
Oh, okay.
Because it sounded like there was like some connections between different departments and that type of thing. But so, I mean, it obviously has a decent entrance, and you can't see the home from this shot. So I guess I don't know what the home looks like beyond this. So, but just based on just this picture alone, I mean, it seems like you could get away with a decent amount without being seen. In my opinion.
It looks like the house is probably pretty. Well, it's not. It's a hunt. It was. They called it a hunting lodge, but it's still It's still like a house, but it's. They called it a hunting lodge.
But I feel like it's what Minnesotans would call a cabin.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Now it's bad.
Okay. Okay, and are they breathing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and you said it's your wife and your son?
My wife and my son.
Are they in a vehicle?
No, ma'am. They're on the ground out at my kennels.
Okay, and did you see anyone? Okay, is he breathing at all?
No, nobody.
Is she? Okay, do you see anything? Do you see anyone in the area?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
What color is your house on the outside? What color is your house on the outside?
It's white. You can't see it from the road.
Okay, is it a house or a mobile home?
So he said you can't see it from the road. And something that I was just thinking about, like, in this situation. So at this point, Paul had already been found guilty for Mallory's death.
Right.
So I kind of wonder, for as far as like a motive, if the fact that Alec is worried that Paul's going to ruin the family's name, reputation, considering he was found guilty. And then as far as Maggie goes, I mean, that's her kid. So she's probably going to be more on her son's side than necessarily Alec's when it came down to it. So that's just where my head goes. Like, the mom's going to side with the kid as far as like
she's going to protect her son. Yeah. She's going to protect her son.
Because I know, like, if you cause like disdain to the family, some families are like that. They want you to cut that person off. And I just don't see it being as easy for a mother to do that. So that's where my head goes with as far as Maggie also being killed. So, hi, Christopher, always.
It makes sense to me. Oh, and did you hear the dogs barking in the back? I know that's a rumor, and she does talk about that in episodes.
Yes, and they were not killed in it. So
yeah,
and he said that they were found by the kennels.
But you can hear, they're close enough to hear them. Like they sound closer to him. I don't know.
I don't know where he's located. How that even became a rumor then, if you can hear them in the 911 call.
Yeah. So that can't be a rumor then if you can hear them with a 911 call. I guess it's
rumors come out of the freaking ground in small towns,
right? But no, the family name. I mean, as well known as that family is, that just the name, absolutely someone would be like, you have tarnished the family name, and like we just can't have this.
Yep.
It kind of sounds like mafioso stuff, but that they did that. I mean, you did something bad, disgrace the family name, whatever, you were gone.
My assumption is there was some fights between the father and the son over the fact that he had brought shame upon the family. And then the mom's not going to be willing to cut the son off. So then there's fights between Alec and Maggie.
He does say he's near the dog kennel. Okay.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I just remembered when. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Okay. No, what is your name?
My name is Alec Murdaugh.
Okay, did you hear anything, or did you come home and find them?
No, man, I've been gone. I just came back.
Okay, and was anyone else supposed to be at your house?
No, ma'am. Please hurry.
So she says, is anybody else supposed to be at your house? And he says, no, ma'am. I mean, so for it to not be able to be seen by the road, a prominent family, you had to have known that they were going to be there. You know what I mean? Like, someone, if it's not Alec, it has to be someone close to the family to know that they were going to be there.
Well, yeah, because again, it's a hunting lodge or cabin, and it's near water, right? Like I don't want to call it a lake or whatever. Is it near water? I want to say it.
JC?
JC. Anyway, whether it is or not, if a family kind of, going to a property like that, you would tell other members of the family, hey, me and so-and-so are going up there, for a couple of days. We just need a break from things or whatever. So you would tell the family members so they wouldn't think that it was, empty and go up there and be surprised by you being there. That's just, that's also, good manners and that kind of stuff. But, you would tell other people, you would tell other family members. So someone else had to know that they were there.
She said towards the back of the property, backs up to the water. That's right.
Okay.
Now that she says that, I remember that from seeing another picture. But yeah.
Okay.
And then I guess one other question, maybe JC can also answer that. In other interviews, because I don't want to like jump ahead and see like stuff that I haven't seen yet. Is he an animated person like in other videos? He just seems like, so he seems distressed, sure. But is it overly, like, is he doing it to the point where it's too much? You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like he's doing it on purpose to sound distressed.
I guess after, like you said, we've watched a lot of court, hearings, and we've heard, 911 calls. And when stuff like this happens and you're finding body, unfortunately, I have found someone deceased and had to, I have made that call. I know what that's like. But anyway, you're frantic. You're almost like in a hyperventilate. Like you're just like, he sounds distressed, but
there's points where like his voice like actually like screeches because it sounds like he's trying
it's forcing it. Yeah, he's trying too hard, or he's forcing it. And then his breathing, you don't hear him like, please come quick, please, hurry, my wife and son. Like, that's kind of how you would hear people doing it. I know everyone's different and everything, but you would hear that the breathing being off and just kind of, but his seems just regular. Like, yeah. Have you ever met a true narcissist? I have, but
yeah,
they're not in my life currently.
Yeah. To me, it just like, for all like the 911 calls that I know you and I have listened to and where they analyze that voice, I just hear force at certain points. Like he's trying to make it sound desperate. I don't know. Everybody reacts to trauma in different ways. Not saying anything yet, but that's just my initial like, okay, weird. But
getting somebody out there to you.
Oh, man. Oh.
Okay, what is her name?
Maggie and Paul.
Maggie is her name?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And please hurry.
We're getting somebody out there too. Me asking you these questions don't slow them down, okay? And you sure they're not breathing? Is he moving at all, your son? I know you said that she was shot, but what about your son?
Nobody's. They're not. Neither one of them's moving.
What is your telephone number? And does anything look out of place?
Ma'am, I not particularly, really, no, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so that question intrigues me a little bit. So if you're going to go after, this prominent family, and you're going to take out two of their, top, one of the kids, the mom,
yeah,
and nothing's out of place. I mean, that's like hit style.
I know how this. I know, JC, you've listened to all the episodes and stuff. I almost, to me, to me, it sounds like there might be somebody else there with him. I just like in the like it, because when he gets really quiet and then you hear him like he's whispering, but yet at the same, I don't know. I swear I heard like someone else say something.
See, I thought it was just him like trying to mumble to himself, like to make it sound.
I think
like
maybe he's holding the phone farther. Maybe he has like a speakerphone or something, and maybe he's holding it a little bit away from him. Like maybe he's sitting down. He's, I mean, I'm trying to kind of imagine how he's physically like sitting or standing or whatever a little bit, but I don't know. And the dogs keep going crazy at different points, and I'm like, why are they doing that? Like,
so you would, that's a good point, because okay, so for instance, you have dogs, like
right,
they are calm around you,
right?
They consider you a protector,
right?
So if those people, I mean, sure, dogs could probably react in a commotion still because there's a lot going on, but you would think being the head of the family that they would be calmer knowing that he's there now and that he'll handle it.
And then just him being upset, dogs naturally, and even cats, but dogs really do come over to comfort you. They're not going to bark in your face.
Unless if they were locked in the kennels.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. If they're locked in the kennels and they've seen everything happen, then yes, they would still be going. Yeah, they would still be barking barking like that.
Because like hunting cabins here, they have those, real tall fences with like the indoor outdoor for the dogs.
Right.
So I could see them, I guess, doing that if they were locked in those.
If they were locked in there, then I would say yes. Yeah, they do. The dogs do sound distressed, Joan. I totally agree. They sound just, they are.
And rightfully so. I mean, they just witnessed two of their humans being taken out.
And they're probably worried about him now being there, and they want out so they can protect him, essentially, and come out and comfort him too, because
they're pack animals.
Right.
And so their pack is now gone. So
and I guess I understand why he wouldn't let them out, because the scene, you don't want the dogs, because they might go over and try to comfort the dead and stuff like that. But I don't know. He could take them inside, I guess. I don't know. I guess
maybe he's just figuring like, and this is not me defending him in any sense of the way, but like maybe he's just thinking like, not touch anything.
Jenny has a good thing that she said, that those dogs would still sense and smell a stranger. That could be true too.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're definitely very wound up and very distressed, and yeah.
Hi, Joan. Thanks for coming.
Hi, Joan.
Does anything look out of place? No, just 2 dead bodies up in here, Jersey. JC said, a hit. That sounds interesting. You mean like a mafia? I mean, yeah, in a sense. I mean, if they're just at a place like this where you can't see it from the road, you would be seen upon entering. You don't know necessarily when they are there or not, and that's the only thing that took place. Yeah, to me, it sounds like a hit. Whether the person that did it is the spouse, in my opinion, it is at this point, allegedly. But yeah, I just.
JC has another good point. She says, just for reference to the son that was shot
Caused the boat accident.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So he's the one that was driving the boat intoxicated that killed, that caused a boat crash and killed Mallory. So
jellyfish,
and that's where I went to that whole, you brought shame upon the family. I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to take you out. Your mom's going to not cut you off. I'm going to take her out at the same time.
I mean, they lost a child. That family lost a child. You know, they lost a family member. You know, it happens. It really does. I mean, it's not just us, watching too many court stuff or anything. It really does happen, and it really does.
Yep.
All right, I'm going back down there. Are they close, ma'am?
Yeah, they've been en route with you ever since you've got on the phone with me. I have multiple people coming out there to you.
That's interesting. Someone in chat earlier, I can't remember, said something about wasting time. And he sounds like he's doing a lot in the background.
Yeah, you heard the car thing,
and
right?
then he just asked, like, are they getting close, ma'am? Like, which I guess could be a normal question.
And the dogs are quiet.
Yeah, the dogs are quiet. It could be a normal question, but he already knows they're gone. So why does it matter if they're close? They're not moving.
That's true.
He's probably already sure that they're, if he is just the person that finds them, he's probably already sure that they're gone. So why does it matter if they're close or not?
Keep going. I'll be right back. I gotta go tell mine to be quiet.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Jenny, I don't know this case. Was the son being sued in civil court as well by the family? Jenny, I don't know if that they were at the time. I do know just from headlines that I haven't clicked on yet because I don't want to get ahead of myself that they are now by the boat crash victims. But the son was found guilty on 3 felony counts. He didn't serve any time in jail. And I think, in my opinion, it was those being found guilty in those 3 felony charges that brought shame to the family. So, JC, that's why we all thought it was a revenge thing at first. Yeah. I mean, I can definitely see that too. I guess maybe I've watched too many crime things to be like, I always go for the significant other.
Do you know if it was a civil case? Jenny is asking. No, because it was
Well, they said as well as by the family. Not at that time, I don't think. I know that there's stuff now. I haven't clicked on it, but
oh yeah, and the CPR thing. Yeah, like why didn't he try? I mean, she asked, "Are they breathing?" He said no, but
yeah, I mean it's a good point. She said, even if I thought they were dead, I think I would try to. Oh yeah. Okay, so I was going a different way, but when I reread it, yes, he didn't do CPR. Again, some people have claimed in the past, I know with similar situations, like, oh, I don't want to touch them. Okay, but it's still your loved one. Like if that was my husband, like, so he's finding his wife in this situation. I don't care who the heck you are or what the heck is going on. If that was my husband laying there, I'd be doing anything I could until the authorities got there. And they can take my DNA because I wouldn't be worried about it at that point.
And it would all be recorded that you were doing CPR.
Right.
Exactly.
Which we've also heard that before being fake too. I've heard a 911 call where they claim they're doing CPR, but then like later on it's determined that they never touched them
oh my
for
gosh,
CPR.
that made me think of that one case with that boy and his sister where he pretended like he did CPR. And
yeah.
I'm not going to say it out loud. It's a horrible case, but
yeah.
Oh,
to start them
that broke my heart when I got through the whole thing of that. That broke my heart.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I mean CPR for sure.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, can you do me a favor, Mr. Murdaugh, and turn on the flashers on your car so that way they can see where the kennels are?
21. Central coming out station 18. You will need station 15.
Do you have your flashers on for me, Mr. Murdaugh?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want you to touch them at all, okay? I don't know if you've already touched them, but I don't want you to touch them just in case they can get any kind of evidence, okay?
I'd already touched them trying to get to see if they were breathing.
Okay. Well, I just don't want you to move anything just in case they can get any kind of evidence, okay?
Oh. Ma'am, I'm going to call. I need to call some of my family.
Okay. Well, do me a favor.
Why do you need to call some of your family? Wouldn't you want the authorities to be there first? And calling some of your family, that's just going to create a bigger commotion for the authorities when they do come, if your family starts showing up.
Well, some people do though, but again, why would you even, I mean, in this situation,
he's wanting to hang up with 911 to call family. Like
the whole not rendering them some kind of aid, even if there's a chance that one of them could possibly be brought back just long enough for, the ambulance to get there. And then, I mean, you just don't know. Seconds matter. They count. Every second counts, and just, I mean, I know people like to call family members, but it's usually after the police have arrived, not before the police have arrived. So, it's like he's doing this all backwards. I don't know how else to say it. It's all backwards.
Favor for me whenever you see the officer or the medics, because they're all coming to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, but we have them come in, turn on the flashes on your vehicle so they can see you, okay? You got the flashers on for me?
I do.
Okay, all right. Just whenever you see them.
Okay.
How old is your son?
22.
Okay. All right, we're getting them out there to you, okay?
And I will answer if you call.
All right.
At the end there, did you hear someone else talking? Was that in the 911 dispatcher's background, or was that his?
It might have been in the dispatch, but again, the dogs go quiet and now they're barking again. I really think someone else was there with him. I don't think he went there alone. I don't.
Yeah.
My opinion. Not facts.
And I mean, this isn't that long ago. They're a very wealthy family. Did they not have any security cameras? I'm not a wealthy family and I got security cameras. So
Same. Yeah. I can pull it up on my phone right now.
Me too. Some of them I use for nanny cams for the cats. So, like, it is what it is. Like, it just boggles. And I know my in-laws at our cabin have security cameras because they're not there all the time. So they need to be able to check in on stuff if something's happening. Definitely. He seems to be sort of calm, but could be in shock. Okay. Yeah. Everybody reacts differently.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he's calm at weird times, and times it seems forced or like overdone. Yeah, you would think they have cameras. I would think you have cameras.
Well, yeah, because you don't want someone, breaking into your cabin and doing damage, thousands of dollars worth of damage. I know they're a wealthy family, but even wealthy families don't want to have to spend that money.
Right.
And like you said, it wasn't that long ago. There were outside cameras you can put up, even if it was just one.
Yeah. And hunting dogs, I don't know, I guess the breed of the dogs, but if they're at the hunting lodge and they're in those type of kennels, they're expensive. Just training alone for hunting dogs is expensive. I have plenty of people that I know that have sent their dogs to hunting school, and they're gone for 12 weeks, I think, and it's like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it's expensive. It takes a while.
That's not including the dog. So but if there were cameras, then they would have lots of activity on it.
Well, the cameras I will say, at least with my camera that I have, yes, it captures everything, and it even has the infrared night vision, whatever you want to call it, so you can see clearly at nighttime as well. I only get alerts when a human being or an animal is detected. Otherwise, I don't get alerts. It like even when a spider has crawled across the thing a little, just like at the top or something, this tiny baby spider, it doesn't register because it's too small and it's a baby spider. But leaves, or branch blowing, it doesn't. Nothing. So I'd have to be a human being.
My indoor ones, it's a person, a pet, or a sound. I can do a sound. I have the sensitivity turned way down on that one just because Lucky likes to make noises in the middle of the night, and I don't need it going off because of that. But then my outdoor one, I have a couple extra settings. I can do a package, a vehicle, and a couple other random things. So, but all of them have sensitivity options. So I can turn it up, turn it down. And I have a detection zone too that I can choose. Like if it's in this area, then send me a notification. So, yeah.
Yeah, hunting dogs are not. They're very well. I just feel like someone else was there with him. I don't know. I do. I really do. I don't know.
In my opinion, like, so far, he was getting rid of anything that would bring shame upon his family and or get him into trouble in the future.
I mean,
that would
I
take
guess
away his society stat.
His standing in the community and stuff.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, I can, devil's advocate, I can see why he would ask, if, how close are they? When are they going to be here? Because he is trying to make sure that someone is on the way and they're going to get here because he just found, his family member is dead.
Right.
Although he doesn't ever say he says he knows they're dead and they're not breathing, but he never says I went over and checked or I checked for and that also I think
he
too,
did at the end.
Oh, did he at the
very end?
Okay, I
because she
missed
said
it, sorry.
don't touch them, and he said,
"Oh, okay.
I already touched them to see if they were
Okay.
breathing."
Sorry, I missed that.
Apparently I'm being loud. Someone just shut the door.
It was lucky he shut the door. Sorry.
So maybe he wasn't even near the bodies at this point, walked away due to guilt. Yeah. I mean, it kind of depends on what type of criminal you are. Some of them, they're very proud, want trophies. And yeah, some of them can't even look at what they've done, which tends to run in the ones that are like done out of anger. That passion response. So, yeah. Do you have any other notes for episode 1? Because it kind of cuts us off on both episodes as far as...
It does. It leaves us hanging and we're like, oh, we want more.
Got 2 cliffhangers.
Let me see. I don't have anything else in my notes. They did say, or she pointed out, and please correct me if I wrote down, I was listening in the car line while I was writing at the same time. It said that the wife and son died from the reports between...
Two guns.
Yeah.
Were used. 2 different weapons.
Yeah, 2 different weapons. And the time frame, I know we've talked about that a little bit. So the son and mom, they say died between like 9 and 9:30 p.m. Am I correct on that? Is that okay? And then the father finds them at 10:07 p.m. How do you get away? Even that road's like a dirt road. Like if you're speeding out of we saw the picture of their entrance, if you're hightailing it out of there because you just killed them, there'd be dust and stuff flying. Like that would be noticeable. I don't know, a little bit, but that's too close. So, and if I'm wrong on the time, please let me know. But that's what I believe I heard her say in the first episode.
And also, like, I was just looking back at some of my notes. I knew the property was big, but I had forgot that I had written down it's 1,700 acres.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's more than just big. That's ginormous.
Yeah, 2 different weapons, Joan. That's again, but yeah, the time though, that I mean,
because the son was killed by 2 shotgun blasts, one to the chest and another through his arm,
and it went
head.
To his, it went to his head.
And then Maggie died of multiple gunshot wounds by a semi-automatic rifle.
That sounds like you were talking about, like like anger and like passionate kind of killing. Like you really want her to feel pain, so they basically the person unloaded in her a semi-automatic
And
weapon, and that's
if
a
it's
lot.
him and he's doing this to his very much younger, because he was 52.
Oh, I think did I write it down? I have the son. Was son 52?
She was 52. No, the mom
Oh, she was
52.
52. Sorry.
Yeah.
I have
knew
it right next to
52 was
each
in
other.
there somewhere.
Yeah.
But regardless, the son is a lot younger. So the shotgun for me on that son, I just see that one being, I guess, maybe more planned out. Like he's coming up on the son while the son doesn't expect it, because had he done anything else, the son might be able to get away.
Yeah.
Because he's probably more agile, younger.
Yeah, the son would be able to, run fast, run away.
Have the wife
get
first,
to a
the son
vehicle
out later. Yeah.
I don't know. She was killed. It's more like a crime of passion, whatever they, you know what I mean? Like they call
crime
it,
of
kind of
passion.
thing. That's, because why did they use the shotgun? I
Here,
mean,
I have the times written down. Okay, so autopsy report said that Maggie died between 9 and 9:30.
Okay.
Did I not write down? So I have 9 and 9:30 written down for Maggie, but I guess I don't have anything written for Paul. But I mean, they have to be somewhat close together.
well, I mean, the first episode,
He
there's a lot of
He called 911 at 10:07.
Oh, so he called. Okay, because I thought she said
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it down as he found the bodies, but I get. Okay, called them. That's still really close.
Really close.
Like that's.
And I guess it would matter how far his mom lives from this hunting lodge.
Probably not close. I'm just gonna take a wild guess.
I mean, not close enough to be. Yeah.
To get two different weapons out and then dispose of the weapons and shell casings and everything, like, I mean, that's why I think there was someone else there, because that's too much cleanup for one person. Even if they planned it out, well, yeah, because it was outside. If it was inside and planned out, then okay, then I'm starting to think more like Dexter, but you know what I mean? Like you could
the blood spray and stuff.
Yeah, the
especially from a shotgun.
Episode 2 with the Steven thing, I have a lot of thoughts about that. But yeah, I don't see how there couldn't be someone else helping him.
Oh,
the time frame, it's too close from the time that they are presumed to have died. Well, I guess it's not presumed. We're just gonna say that's.
But JC just brought up a good point. She said, "Keep in mind, reports have been shown to have inaccuracies like Steven's case."
True. That is true.
Because Steven's case, which is episode 2, where we dip our toes into that one. I mean, they claim it was done by a car when there was no evidence of a car.
But how much time do we give the dad, though? I mean, how much? I mean, realistically, though, how much time would you give him? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to know all the time.
He knows where everything is on that place.
I mean, it can be done. It can be done. It just would. Or he could have prepped. He could have, I guess, put the weapons out, loaded in a place where they wouldn't see them. He would have to know they were going to both be there at that time, around that time, that day, that day. Forget the time, just that day. So he obviously knew that they were going to be there.
But think of it like your kitchen. Like you could probably go into your kitchen right now, not even thinking two things about it, and just pull out what you need without even.
That's true.
Like he knows it like the back of his hand, just like we know where our stuff is, like the back of it. Usually, unless you lose it on yourself, but.
That's a good question, Jesse. And I lose things all the time. I get so mad. I hate it when I lose something and then it's right in front of me.
And was it the same coroner that signed off on them and Stephen?
I think so, because it was in the same county,
sounds...
same county coroner. But Stephen had, oh, that pathologist makes me mad. But that second episode, we'll get into that soon.
Yeah.
If it's in the same county, then it would be the same coroner. Yeah. Because yeah.
Was it?
Well, no, because Stephen was in a different county.
He was found. Yeah, he was found nearby on a road. So.
Well, but with the county lines, if it was a different county, I'd have to go back and see. I don't know if she specified. Sorry, I don't know if she specified that. I don't have that written down, but I think if it's in the same county, it's going to be the same coroner. If it's in two different counties, unless a coroner is unavailable,
are like basically the law in Hampton County. Colton, is that how you say it, Jason? Colton County would be the sheriff's office that arrived to the lodge. And they handed it over to SLED,
right,
which is the South Carolina Law Enforcement Department, because it was beyond their scope of what they could handle.
Oh, you're right, JC. The solicitor does cover more. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And initially, Alec was named person of interest. Initially.
Yeah, he was.
Until some fingerlings got in there.
Ironclad alibi. Hey, Mom, can you be my alibi? Sure.
Colleton. Oh, sure. And yeah, and even SLED said that Alec's ironclad alibi was what closed the book on him, in their opinion, as any sort of suspect.
That's what. See, I just don't like that. They're family members. He spent the day with two other family members.
Yeah. And we touched on the conflicts of interest with the DA that was handpicked basically by the family. Stone, I think is his last name.
Yes, Stone.
Yes. When he follows a line of Murdaugh men that were in his position before that. And he is yet to recuse himself, at least at this point. JC, don't tell me otherwise, because I don't want to know yet. She's been good about that. She knows that I'm trying not to find out information ahead of time.
She is. She's
because this
right
is
there with us.
Serious rabbit hole. Like, she's been telling me about this stuff, like, to listen to this podcast for quite a while. And so then I was like, I read, I think, the bio of the podcast, and I was like, okay. So, rabbit hole, here I come.
I do have something else written down. So we know there was some water there on the property, right? And I believe this is in episode 1. I hope I'm right about this.
Did you listen ahead?
No, I only listened to 1 and 2. I only listened to 1 and 2. I could have listened to 3. I wanted to, but I didn't. But they said they found the weapons like by the dock on the property. Am I right in that? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
If I heard something wrong, please tell me, because I mean, I was listening, pausing, writing, so on.
I feel like I remember that too. I typed a bunch of stuff. So I'm just trying to look.
I know. Well, I'm like handwriting this. I'm like pause, write, play, pause, write. That's what I was doing. I'm in my car doing that. So I had to finish the second one.
So the 2 weapons were found near the dog kennels.
Near the dock. Okay. Oh, the dog kennels.
Dog kennels.
Oh, I thought it was the dock. Okay, I misheard. But they were still found on the property.
Right.
Oh, by the kennels?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Huh, that's...
Manny Matney, who is the author of the podcast, and she's also the investigative journalist that has been looking into the murders for a long time, said she describes it as a Southern Gothic novel, but worse, according to JC.
I bought
You're going to have a novel of notes. I believe it.
I bought a new journal. It's got Baby Yoda on the front of it, JC. So I'm excited. I'm good. I'm ready.
Mine's pink and rose gold. Shocker. I know, not really. But... All right. So, any questions so far on episode 1? I will be diving more into this part of the case in future episodes, according to Mandy. So, but I feel like we can move on to Stevens.
And you can go listen to it yourself, the podcast as well.
Yeah. And I can actually and I can put it up on screen too if people want to see it right now, but there are pictures of like the family, the son, the mom.
See, I haven't seen any pictures of it,
Why don't I
so
just
it's all
pull it
new
up?
to me.
I'll pull it up. Okay.
JC, we've been here the whole time. You just didn't know we like this stuff too. See? No, our group is growing.
Just have to get to the...
Well, you're fine. I didn't even think to look for pictures, even though she talks
I
about
wish she
pictures.
did all the episodes this way, but the first 2 are up on the YouTube, and they have pictures to go kind of along with the first 2 episodes. They're the only 2 that have that, but it does kind of help give you a sense of what's kind of like who's who, what's what.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to go watch that because I just listened on the just listened. I didn't even use YouTube because I didn't realize she had the YouTube. Maybe she'll do that. Maybe she's working on that. I don't know. Putting it, because it's still ongoing. All this is still going on. So maybe she's
right.
She's working really hard and has been for 2 years, she said. So yeah, so she knows a lot.
So here, this is the son, Paul, and the mom, Maggie. This is Mallory. This is the girl that died in the boat crash. And this is Gloria, who was also just briefly mentioned in episode 1. She was their housekeeper. She died due to a trip and fall, and the Murdaugh's insurance paid out $500,000 on hers. And this is Stephen, who we're going to touch on next. Because, Mallory kind of started everything off. Then these two were killed and everything kind of went crazy, I guess, in the media. But, there's been murders tied back to this family since way before that. At the moment, I think there's 7 active murder investigations that are tied to the Murdaughs. So,
and see, Paul's young. Look how young, and he looks fit. So he could he could definitely run away.
Yeah, compared to the dad, because let me just go back to the dads in here. This is Alec.
Oh goodness, I'm sorry.
Yep,
he's not running. I'm just gonna. He's not running.
And this is the whole family. So this would be Paul. This is the older brother, Buster. I'd have to go back to my notes.
Buster.
Mom, right. Alec, and then this would be one of. I'm assuming this would be Alec's parents.
Yeah. So he was with his dad, which we'll assume that's his dad in the picture that day. Took him to a doctor's appointment or some kind of appointment, and then was with his mom.
Right.
And if that's her in the picture, so how is that an ironclad alibi? I want to see security cam footage from the doctor's offices.
And if they're law in that area, Alec probably learned this growing up. He probably got away with stuff just like his boys do.
Oh, yeah.
So, of course, the parents are probably going to lie for their kid.
They probably said, sure, I'll be your alibi. Or he could have stopped by and saw them both for 5 minutes.
Just to give him that.
Just
to say he could.
And that way it wouldn't be a lie for them to say, oh, yeah, I saw him.
Yep.
People have done it.
Yep.
We need that music. Dun, dun, dun.
I'm working on a soundboard, but I haven't finished it yet. You saw that part. I believe this would be the water that it opens up to.
Oh, there could be some gators in there. Just say I wouldn't go in there. Sorry. No.
And I don't know if we mentioned this, but Alec is a prominent and a very well-known law firm there, the Banyan Law Group. I just saw the thing for it.
Is there a picture of the hunting lodge on YouTube?
Not that I've seen. I've only seen that entryway picture.
Because I would love to see that, because then we should be able to see where the kennels are, and I need to get on Google.
Yeah. Oh boy, we're about to jump down. I have so many things listed on my note, my little to-do list next to my notes, Google this, look into this, Google this, look into this.
Because after listening to that 911 call, right?
Right.
I need to know where those kennels are located, and I just need to see the setup. I need to see it.
Right.
Because what I've got pictured in my head could be close to what it looks like, but it could be completely different. But I'm going to try and find pictures of it.
Yep. Let's see. Is there other ones on this? I don't think so. Okay. So now we'll jump into Stevens. And
yeah, Stevens. That frustrates me and kind of angers me. And Duncan, don't like him. Just 'cause he didn't do his job. That's
then I'll bring this.
My opinion, but facts.
So what what's a big detail in Steven's case, in my opinion, is the fact that he was linked to the older brother, Paul's older brother, Alex's oldest son, Buster, in an intimate way. Which is, from what I gather, very frowned upon in that area.
Oh yeah, that would not. That's not
So,
acceptable.
so I'll just bring this up. This is a picture of Steven. Died on July 8th, 2015. And what are your first notes on this one?
It's so tragic. I mean, he's at the beginning of his life. Like, he's 19, right? Do I have that age right? He was 19. And he was in nursing school. So here he is. He's in nursing school. He's at the start of his life. He's not bothering anybody. You know, like, from everything. So, well, just in just the one episode, he good kid. Like, you know, just had his whole life ahead of him, wanted to be a nurse, wanted to help people, and then, should I say what happens? Or
yeah.
Okay. And then he ends up in the middle of a road, and they say it's a hit and run, but there's no evidence of it being a hit and run.
Right.
None. And the trauma this boy went through, not going to go in details, but it just no broken glass, you know, no, his shoes were still on his feet, his, you know, like, all the things. If you've ever watched, I think, any movie or even seen any video of security cams where someone gets hit by a car, none of that stuff was present when they found him. He was just in the middle of the road and so badly beaten.
Right.
Especially his face.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the pictures.
7 inches. I don't think that they're publicly available. 7.25 inches long gash in his head, which led to the blunt force trauma.
Yeah, and that's what they had. They had, what'd she say? They had three different
death certificates.
Death certificates. Sorry, 3 different death certificates for this young man. And the coroner's like, no, it's blunt force trauma. It's a homicide. It's a shooting homicide, right? It's a homicide. But then his all the information and whatever the police collected gets sent to this pathologist, and
I don't think it's ever been said that it's a shooting.
Oh, was it not a shooting? It was just a homicide.
It's well, they blamed it on a hit and run, but it has been reopened on June 22nd this past year.
The first coroner, though, was saying that it was a homicide, and then the pathologist lady was saying that no, it's a hit and run, and got real snippy with the police officer and stuff. If you listen to the second episode, yeah, she explains it. But just like, and then his car wasn't anywhere near him, so they think maybe he ran out of gas.
And he was found like right before 4 a.m.
Yeah.
In the middle of a sandy road in Hampton County. So Hampton, again, is that same county that the Murdaughs are law in.
No lights, like, kind of like, it's dark, you know, like, people aren't, that's not a main road. It doesn't sound like that people travel down that much. But they want to say he got hit by a mirror off of a truck. And
that's what they said, that it would have been a mirror that caused the blunt force trauma.
But the mirror
there was no glass.
Yeah,
right?
the mirror would have shattered on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was a hit and run, there'd be some kind of markings from tires. Even if you don't brake, you still gonna swerve in a way or do some or speed up. There'd be something. There's nothing.
There is footage of the road in this.
But yeah, he still had his tennis shoes on. So how do you get hit by a car, flung in the air, and your shoes are still on? Like, usually one comes off. And they even say, experts even say that when you get hit by a vehicle, you're because of the force is so, it's just such, that force is so strong, it's gonna knock one of your shoes off. I mean, they're only holding on by shoelaces or they're slip-ons. We don't know.
And they were still there. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing up with that. So this would be his mom.
Oh, his poor mom. That goes out to her.
And he was very open about his sexuality. That was one key factor that they talked about. In just a second, I think they play the roads here.
Yeah.
So they can kind of get a gauge. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like this marker is where it happened. So here's Hilton Head, here's Charleston. This is like where it opens up to the water. Here's down by Savannah. Like, so it's real close. But Sandy Run Road is what it's called. So, I mean, to me, it looks like a little bit of a farming type from what I'm used to when I see that stuff. It's like farming area.
I mean, that could be a road in Kansas. I've probably driven down a road just like that.
Same here in Minnesota.
So you see there's no lights on the road. And like they don't even talk about like it was so messed up. Like they didn't know
the road. He was literally found right in the middle.
The road is perfect. That's not possible if it's a hit and run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was something that was brought up in this episode. Is there was no skid marks. There was, like, you can see the grass. There's nothing. If a vehicle had hit somebody, you would think they would veer off and there would be markings in the grass. Especially if they claim it was like a truck mirror that hit him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And blood splatter.
Yeah.
As because he was really severely beaten and like his face
7.25 inches. Yeah.
The words are covered in blood, which means blood went all over.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever he was beaten, that's where his blood is. It wasn't on that road, in my opinion, because they didn't even mark it down when the police didn't mark down they found any blood anywhere on the road. It's so far anyway. It's not in any reports that, at least in this episode, that she's talked about. I don't know. For the episodes, maybe it is. I don't.
Yeah, something that I wrote down that she said is that she'd seen the crime scene photos like of his face, and she said it was horrific. It's covered in blood, and yet the 7.25 inches, like that to me just sticks out. The 7.25 inches gash. His head was literally just warped by blunt force. And originally they actually called Highway Patrol because they thought it was a hit and run.
Mm-hmm.
So SLED, which is again the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, was called to the scene when the coroner actually I guess you're right, ruled it a shooting.
So shooting, and I thought it said shooting homicide, but so
that
first
searched
coroner,
the area for ballistics, right? Okay, that's right. You were right.
Yeah, that pathologist pisses me off. I don't. Woman? Mm-mm.
The road, like, it doesn't seem overly curvy. I guess I don't know.
That's
What
a
the speed
nice
limit.
paved road.
Yeah. We do have some roads like that here, and they can be, depending on when they recently like put some gravel to help with the road down, they can be a little rocky, but overall that looks like a decent road to me. Casey says this one has so many victims and it seems to always have someone in the family associated in some way, right?
Yeah, there's always a... Yeah. I mean, can we get the FBI on this? Because I feel like they're the only ones that don't have anyone in the family in the FBI, but I could be wrong.
And then this area, and even by that overall map picture when they were first going to the pin on the map, like this looks like a straight shot to me. Not a lot of curves. I don't know what the speed limit is, but I would assume something similar to ours. Ours is 60 on a road like this. So,
and the ditches are not deep, so you could
right.
You could pull off to the side safely. At least in this picture, it looks like they're not deep because in some places they're really deep and you
I
don't
mean, the
want to pull
grass
over.
could definitely be deceiving.
It could be,
But worst case scenario, you go to the left if there's no car and you end up in corn.
Oh, look, there's a car right there.
Right.
See? Okay, so
exactly. And this is what I think is like the nearby house to it.
And she said that they didn't talk to any of the neighbors. They didn't go talk to that
No,
neighbor.
they didn't canvass the area, which boggles my mind. Like that's what the one thing. The one thing.
And you can't do it now because no one's going to remember, like she says in the podcast, no one's going to remember a weird sound they heard, or maybe a scream or something happening on a Wednesday night at 3 a.m. whatever, back 2 3, all the years back it was, you know what I mean? No one's going to remember that now.
Right.
Oh, are you going to read through these?
So this is the incident report. It says on July 8th, between the hours of 1 a.m. and 4 a.m., an incident took place involving a victim and an unknown subject. The victim was found in the middle of Sandy Run Road, deceased from some sort of blunt force trauma to the head. Responded to the scene. I saw no vehicle debris, skid marks, or injuries consistent with someone being struck by a vehicle. The victim's shoes were loosely tied and both were still on. After consulting with I don't know what that is. After consuming with mate, we see no evidence to suggest the victim was struck by a vehicle. So in the initial report, no evidence to suggest they were struck by a vehicle.
And these were the first officer on scene, right?
Yep.
This is their so they would know, they would see this. They're trained to look for this stuff, even in a small county. They still have training of some kind, and just being just a kind of rational thought. You're like, okay, I need to look around, see if I can find anything, and keep people away. But so yeah, they didn't even believe it was a hit and run. It's just.
And then his also, like, besides the blunt force trauma, he had bruises on both sides of his forehead, and his skull had multiple fractures, bruising, and contusions. His right eyebrow had a cut, and his shoulder was dislocated and had cuts and bruises on his right hand. So my thoughts on that is, like, I view this one as kind of like a body dumping. And it would be curious, or I would be curious to know if they were able to tell if those bruises and or scrapes were post-mortem.
Right.
Because that can happen when you're dumping a body. So.
Right. Well, and then also, like, the fact, didn't she mention something? The knuckles, like, if you're fighting someone off or fighting against it, your knuckles are usually, like, messed up.
Right.
So I just wonder if some of those bruises and some of the cuts and stuff were defensive wounds. You know, like on the hands, arms, and maybe torso.
There were
you know
cuts
what I mean?
on his right fingers, and there was
It could be though from putting
blood
the body
in his
down.
airways, which is what led the pathologist to think that he was killed by a vehicle.
I don't like her.
But then there's no mention of anything specific that led that to, like, evidence-wise.
Yep.
And then something else that stuck out to me during this is so the highway patrol, they were kind of like dumbstruck by that because they were told by SLED that that they weren't needed at the autopsy, and that they weren't needed at the autopsy because they didn't think it was a hit and run.
Right.
And then South Carolina, like, highway patrol typically doesn't investigate murders. So, but they still went to the scene like many times to search for evidence, although they were never told to was that the autopsy? Maybe I'm getting. One of them had mentioned, like, there wasn't anything mentioned about a bullet because they were never told to look for a bullet. And
right.
That was the autopsy, I'm pretty sure, now that I'm thinking back.
The pathologist ruled out it being a shooting because she didn't find any gun residue from bullet. There was no casing found. That was one of the things that she was saying about a shooting. And maybe I'm wrong.
No skid marks on the roadway.
And then the chain of custody for the clothes was mishandled. It was broken.
It was like basically just in a garbage bag, in my opinion.
Yeah. It was, it was at the funeral home, just chilling. You know, so we don't even know, the police don't even know if those are his actual clothes and if, you know, what's been done to them, because they weren't sealed up like they're supposed to be. They're just chilling there in the place. So that's not good at all, because there could be DNA from people on there, you know. I mean, oh, are you gonna play the oh, well, that's from the podcast, never mind. Unless she has it on the YouTube channel. The interviews, they're real short, with the guy who claimed to be the boyfriend, I guess. Or were you not gonna play those?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the timestamps in here. So we saw that.
But this guy
kind of has like the map. So like, oh, go back. So that, like, this is the road. His feet were here. Head was here. This is where the painted box was. So just to kind of give everybody a idea of that. Oh, right. The argument between the how did she put it? That she'd never seen a disagreement like written up in a report.
Right.
Okay, so go back to more. Yeah, his clothes were left in a paper bag, completely unattended, meaning the chain of custody was broken. Sergeant Moore would be the one that went to get a better explanation. I can play that part.
Didn't have any other serious injuries. From the reports, it appears like Highway Patrol officials were completely thrown off by the decision to give them the case. After the autopsy, Sergeant Moore was calling around to find Stephen's body. He then found out that Stephen's body was at the funeral home and his clothes were left in a paper bag completely unattended. This means that the chain of custody was broken. Sergeant Moore of the Highway Patrol does not understand why Stephen's death was ruled a hit and run. He then calls Dr. Aaron Presnell to get more information. Presnell's explanation to Moore was simple. She said because she didn't find a gunshot wound or any bullets or any fragments, and because Stephen was found in the road, the only thing that she could theorize was that he had to have been hit by a motor vehicle that caused his death. Moore asked Presnell if there were any other injuries on Stephen, and she said only a
So because he's found in a road, it has to be a car. Has to be. Sorry, what? Why does it have to be a car?
I would have said, "Are you an idiot?" I mean, I know you're a pathologist, but seriously.
I mean, have you never watched any true crime documentaries ever, lady? I mean, obviously, I would think in her line of work, just because they're found in the middle of the road doesn't mean that it's a freaking car.
I can't with this woman. I can't with the pathologist.
Located right shoulder. Moore then asked Presnell if she found any glass fragments or any other evidence from a motor vehicle, and she said no, according to his notes. Moore then asked Presnell why she made the ruling that it was a motor vehicle accident and what she thought caused Stephen's head injury. It looks like Presnell snapped back at Moore at this point. Moore wrote in his report, quote, "She told me it was not her job to figure that out. It was mine." I have read thousands of police reports in my lifetime, and I have never seen anything like this. For a public official to describe a confrontation with another official in a report, that is very weird. Okay, so let's rewind here.
It is really weird, and somebody sounds like a major Karen.
I mean, it's not your job. You're a pathologist, and like,
you're part of that job, and
you're part of it. Yes.
How many times, even just CSI Miami alone, like, you're definitely part of the investigation. You're what gives those investigators thoughts in their brains as to what they might be looking for suspects. Like, you're definitely part of it.
Yep. JC, she is an idiot, and I would never trust her with any pathology of mine, even my poop.
They took care to protect the right people. Correct.
I agree, Joan. I agree with that too. This pathologist.
I mean, had this been her son, I bet your ass it would be a different answer.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I think on this. This is what I think on this. This is what I think on that. But no, it's not my job. It's not my job. And he was found in the middle of the road. So was a car. Just stop bothering me. Basically, is what she's saying. Just stop bothering me.
I have to wash my hair. I'm busy. sorry, but that's exactly how it comes across.
I have more important things to do, and you are bothering my time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This guy is trying to find out what happened to this young man and give this mother some peace and closure and all of this, and just no, can't with her.
Mm-hmm. So SLED they looked for evidence of a shooting, but it is to be known that SLED was never in charge of this investigation. They were only called to the scene to assist. And it wasn't theirs until they opened it, which happened in 2021, June of 2021. So, and none of the reports that they received, does it mention like that he was struck by any objects, like a baseball bat or anything like that. Let's see if there's.
Oh,
this one is. This kind of just gives the crime scene investigation summary. So it says a possible homicide.
Mm-hmm.
And notified Highway Patrol in reference to it being a possible hit and run. After further investigation, it was believed that the victim had been shot in the head.
Stephen and his family. Stephen.
I don't know who else died in June. I think so far. Well, we're only 2 episodes in. JC was asking.
Who else died in June of 20? Wait, hold on. The June of 2020, isn't that the mom and the son?
Yeah, the mom
that died in.
That was the only ones I was thinking of. I thought I missed someone. Yeah. Yeah, June 7th, I believe. Yeah, that's what I have written down as June 7th.
Oh.
Interesting.
Did I miss that? Boom, 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 boom. My mind right now, I swear.
There was a lot of information in the especially in that first one.
Crap.
I was writing so much down, trying to keep it straight.
Whoa.
JC.
Rabbit hole. Oh my, I'm not gonna sleep tonight. I'm gonna be down rabbit holes.
Well, SLED has the SLED has the case for.
Yes, SLED took over
and Stephen. They have. Yeah, they have. So they have all. Well, both cases. Sorry, I was gonna say all 3 because there's 3 people, but both cases. Sorry.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Not sure I trust SLED that much. I still think maybe someone else should come in.
I feel like it should be another state or like federal at this point, but not anybody from South Carolina, I can tell you that much.
Yep. Can we just get out of the Carolinas? Surely.
Oh, man.
Start writing letters to the FBI. Please help the Carolinas.
She mentions a lot of times that she's not sure if it's like incompetence or if it's corruption.
Yeah.
I believe it's both, but I believe it's more so corruption.
So far, I would agree with you on just the 2 episodes.
Some things it could be chalked up to incompetence and the fact that they don't have the resources or the know-how, so they just deal with it how they know how to do it, and that's making it go away with some corruption. But to me, it just screams a lot of corruption. She says it really fast. She says they reopened Stephen's case because of something that was discovered with Megan Pels. That would probably be why I missed it. I was like, my mind was, because on the first episode, she's literally listing like 3 victims. Well, yeah, 3 victims, because you have Stephen, you have the housekeeper, and you have Mallory. And then she starts right away getting into Paul and Maggie. So that's a lot for 18 minutes of a podcast.
Yes.
And then, we jump right into Stevens, which at that point my mind was already like, whoa. But now I just feel like a bomb just went off in my brain, and JC is probably like watching this like, she got it.
Look, her comment, I kid you not, I was thinking it before I even read that. When I just saw "just keep listening," I thought of Dory. Just keep swimming, just keep
Oh, man.
We will keep listening.
And then there's also, again, that key factor that Stephen was intimately linked to the oldest Murdaugh son.
Make a board. You want to put a board behind me, and then we just put the pins?
Hey, I can do it. I will go to Walmart and get a little board and put some crap up.
JC says we are going to have to do that. Oh my goodness.
I probably will.
Spreadsheet.
I need a flow chart. Flow chart with pins and highlighting, and holy crap.
We're going to need we're going to need highlighters. We're going to need all different colored of sticky notes, just like a jury needs when they're doing.
And then something that has been brought up several times is like, and I know it's his mom and like his family and friends are saying, but like Stephen was very smart, had a good head on his shoulders. So like the fact that he's out in the middle of that road at 4:00 in the morning, or I mean, it's been said like 1 to 4. But at that time, in the middle of the road, no lights, like it just doesn't. They said he would be extra aware of his surroundings. So it doesn't make sense in their opinion for this.
Yeah, and there's in the second episode there's some interviews. So yeah, he was sober. So he wasn't like out drunk driving or anything like that.
Yeah.
No drugs, no drinking, nothing in his system. But those interviews that she played in the second episode, somebody according to this person,
I think I just found the timestamp.
Stephen had said that he was being harassed by someone at work
on July 14, 2015. Highway
Patrol
detectives start interviewing people. This is weird because if you are investigating for a random hit and run, according to the death certificate, why would you interview people close to Stephen as if it was an intentional homicide? One of the first people interviewed by Highway Patrol was a man who identified himself as Stephen's boyfriend. However, the family very much disputed this title as boyfriend. He was older. He was apparently paying for Stephen's phone. There was some kind of fling happening between them of some sort.
So I view this guy as like a sugar daddy type situation.
What's it called? It's called a booty call. He's a booty call, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that
I feel like Stephen may have been giving him some benefits in return for having certain bills paid.
Yeah, because I mean, you're friendly with the booty calls. Yeah, I don't. Okay, look, I don't have any right now, but if I did,
We're working on
you're
that.
friendly. You're working. Yeah, I don't want what you're trying to send my way, but it basically, apparently was friendly with this person. But what, the guy has like brain injury and drug issues and memory issues, like, and I guess it was really difficult to understand what he was saying. I mean, she goes into it, and he's the one that tells the police that Stephen had told him that he was being harassed by someone at work and made to feel uncomfortable and stuff like that.
I think that's right.
I think that, yeah.
But from what the family says, he was not Stephen's boyfriend. He claims to be one of the last people who spoke to Stephen before his death.
Because he already told me he was out of gas. He was running out of gas. One of the calls before, and then the call dropped.
I'll be clear here. It's hard to follow this man's interview. He talks about a lot of things that he's not asked about. He has said that he has memory problems and that he's done a lot of drugs and also has brain injuries. It's very hard to follow.
The frustration sets in as far as you can remember this, but you can't remember that.
Because you got to understand, I got a lot of brain injuries.
Okay.
And you're trying to hit me with things just to get a timeline. I mean, I had to think because I'm thinking in my head that these calls are coming in Thursday morning.
Okay.
However, he does say some things that seem like they could be relevant.
And he's been harassed in this town. They've been messing with his lugs on the car. They've been screwing with his battery.
And when you say they, who are you talking about?
I don't know. The only one that he told me that he made it very clear to me, the guy with the tattoo.
When they later pressed this man about specifics, he said,
Do you think he didn't know?
This guy?
Yeah. Do you think he really had no idea who was harassing him?
I don't think he had any. I think he knew as much as Stephen told him.
Because I know it's been mentioned several times that like nobody is willing to talk about the Murdaughs. Like nobody, they're scared. So if they were involved and this guy knew that there was involvement, I don't honestly know that he would say it.
Yeah, that's true, and I agree with that. We'd have to know more about if he grew up there, if he knew about the Murdaughs, Murdaugh, whatever. I want to say Murdaugh. That's what I want to say.
So
that's how I want to pronounce it. But anyway,
it's spelled like Murdaugh, but everywhere I've heard the name, they say just kind of like Alex and Alec. It's Murdaugh, from what I've heard. JC can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, JC, I think he may have known the name in town because obviously they had the biggest law firm and all of that. Like, they had it standing in the town. People seemed to know, everyone knew them basically.
Yeah.
So I'm sure at some point he probably did see something in the paper or on TV or something, or heard someone talking about them or something. It sounds like there's a lot of rumors in that area about that family. So, I mean, I don't know that he wouldn't say anything. I just don't think he would have been given that information. He doesn't seem like the type of guy that would be given that information. And the police could check his phone records and stuff like that. And I mean, they didn't, but I'm sure he'd probably let them because he doesn't sound like he has anything to hide to me. No. In my opinion, he really doesn't sound like it. It sounds like he's he's
I feel like
worried
he's
and
willing to cooperate.
right.
But as far as naming names, I feel like sometimes that's a whole nother level.
Right. And with all the stuff like the brain injury, the memories, that I feel like he's trying to give them as much information as he can, and it's just maybe it's just all discombobulated. You know what I mean? Like it's just not in the right order, like he said, and even says, "Hey, you're trying to get this timeline, and I'm trying." You know, so I you can hear it in his voice that he is trying, and I mean. There just has to be more questions, and I think a different person like interviewing him. You know what I mean?
Right.
That takes the time, more compassionate, a little more sensitive. I mean, I don't know.
Stephen was harassed on the night he was killed at Snyder's Crossing.
Is that where he said he felt like he was being followed at?
Yes, he said that he was being harassed at that store.
By who?
He didn't say. He said it was a couple of guys in a pickup truck. If I call correctly, he said they were rednecks.
I guess I wouldn't refer to them as rednecks.
Corporal Duncan of the Highway Patrol interviews one of Stephen's family members. During the interview, it's the first time that the Murdaugh name is brought up in the investigation. We're going to alter the voice of the person that speaks.
So this is one of Stephen's family members. She brings up the Murdaughs. They change her voice, obviously, for her protection, but she brings up the Murdaughs. Later on, I think right after this, they talk to Stephen's mom. She also brings up the Murdaughs, and it is not ever followed up on or referenced by the police. So
right.
Speaks here due to the sensitive nature of this topic.
How about the rumors that you've been hearing on the street that you told me earlier today about possibly were involved?
A bunch of people, like, I just left the house the first official time yesterday, and I went into the store, and a bunch of people kept coming up to me, and they're like, did you know the Murdaugh boys are behind it? You know, saying Buster Murdaugh, the one we went to school with, did it, and some of his friends, and I'm just sitting here like, why? You know, it makes no sense. He's never said anything bad about Stephen. He's never been around Stephen.
Duncan doesn't ask Stephen's relative a lot of follow-up questions to the statement. They just ask her where she got the information, she mentions a few people, and they move on. And then the Murdaugh name comes up again.
No lawyers have contacted you about anything, have they?
Well, the day that Stephen passed away, Randy Murdaugh was the second person to call my dad after the coroner. And he said he wanted to take the case and it would be free of charge and everything. And my dad's a little iffy on that. So, it's kind of...
So this part like stuck out to me like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Right after, like the day Stephen was found, or that morning when he died, right after the coroner was talking to the family, the next people to call the family was the Murdaugh family law firm. And if I'm remembering correctly, it would be the brother to Alec, offering to take Stephen's case
for free, of charge.
Free. That's not sus at all.
So I just was hearing this again. Notice the officer's tone is different with this family member than it is with that other guy. They were very more aggressive, and again, they know that this guy is gay. I don't know if that plays into it, but this officer now, Officer Duncan, should ask more questions, and I do think he's been paid off by someone. In my opinion, I do, because he doesn't follow up on anything. In my opinion,
he wants his career to last and wants to move up the ladder. And
doesn't
feel like it
like
will.
If he's paid not to go dig any deeper. But I just noticed the difference now in the questioning with that guy with because there were two officers and they're very aggressive with him, and I'm thinking, you don't need to be aggressive. He's willing to give you information. I know they're being compassionate with the family member, but still, it's totally different. Like,
I also wonder, like, if there's some history with that family member, just because I've seen on other investigations, like, when they're in that room with them, if that family member has a questionable history, or if they think that that family member is trying to necessarily pin it on somebody because of rumors, they might not lean into it very much. So I'm going to give Duncan the benefit of the doubt there. Just giving him the benefit of the doubt.
He's supposed to be, I mean, this is...
No, I know, but like, I'm wondering if he's just not leaning into it because he's probably like, oh, this person has this in their history, or this person, there's a beef there. Like, they're supposed to follow up on every lead, yes.
Yeah.
But I can see why maybe initially they're kind of just taking a mental note of it, but then...
But it's not in the reports, though.
It's not in the report. That's where I was...
Oh, sorry.
I just... Because right after this, they talk to the mom, and she also mentions it.
Yeah.
And that also is not followed up on.
Yep.
And the mom, I mean, I don't know anything. At this point, hasn't been anything said about, like,
if there was
her history.
Yeah, because the national media's dug into this a little bit, and if she had anything, they would have dug that up in a heartbeat, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely. They usually do that kind of stuff.
And it makes me, only with that family member, I guess, specifically, because, like, they did, and, I guess they are scared to talk about anything Murdaugh. But, like, they changed the voice with that person. If you're a family member, I mean, I don't feel like that's that hard to figure out. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to know the history too on that family member, but we'll probably never will know it.
Because why would someone else? What is she saying?
Cover for someone else because they know things.
Oh,
they know things, and the other person knows things, and
no lawyer sits here and says it'll be free and you can have whatever money you want.
Okay, so I know that the Highway Patrol is not used to investigating homicides. But here, Duncan doesn't ask any follow-up questions about this. He just learned a few minutes before that this relative heard rumors that the Murdaugh boys were involved in Stephen's death. Then, a few minutes later, he heard that Randy Murdaugh was the first person to contact the family after the coroner to offer his services. Granted, Hampton is a very small town, but Duncan appears to not even make the connection between the Murdaughs being mentioned twice in the interview. He just asks a few more questions that don't have anything to do with that, and he ends the interview. In Duncan's notes from the interview, he does not mention the Murdaughs. According to his notes, this relative told him that Stephen became very secretive about 2 weeks before the incident, and this relative didn't know of anybody who had a problem with Stephen. Later that day, Duncan
didn't know of anyone that had a problem with Stephen. Really? No one? No one?
I mean, if he was openly gay in that area, that people are not going to be friendly. Certain types of people.
True, but then it's also kind of like saying, keeping up with the Joneses. These would be the Joneses, and if they're brought up, your radar is going to go off. Like, oh, they're talking about that family.
And it was twice. That's why.
Town.
Yeah, that's why I have a hard time giving Duncan a pass on this a bit.
I wasn't
because
giving him a pass. I was
not a pass. Okay, well, because I'm like, man, twice. I mean, even if you're like, oh, I've heard the rumors too, because he probably has. He's probably heard a bunch of rumors about him, right? Let's just put it out there. He probably has. But it should be different because this is an investigation, and it came up twice.
Right.
And it from both times it was brought up, it wasn't brought up in any way that sounded, that they were trying to get back at this family and you know what I mean? Like, it came through pretty honest and sincere. In my opinion, obviously, I've only heard 2 episodes, but I think he should have asked more questions. I think he should have dug a little bit, even secretly. He can dig secretly. He can Google. He can get it, has access to, records and stuff. He can do things covertly.
And it's one thing for him to not like lean in, I guess, more with that family member, but it's another thing entirely to not mention in the report. And also say there was no mention of anybody that had anything wrong with him. JC says, like, what if Nikki saw me do something sketchy and she could hold it over my head? Then someone comes and tells me Nikki did something bad. Am I going to be quick to reveal that, knowing she could expose me as well?
It would depend on what she has, what she knows. What, you know, if it's about a body, a murder or something, then I mean, it depends on the
feel like
information.
JC maybe is saying that Duncan has done something sketchy, and Murdaugh knows about that. And
that is possible.
Okay.
Duncan calls Sandy Smith, Stephen's mother. Sandy tells Duncan different things about her son. She says that he'd recently been cutting school, which is unusual for him.
But he would stay at my house, and he was a study person. He studied. But he would come to my house and stay there until about 1 o'clock in the morning before he would go home. Okay.
During the interview, Duncan asks Sandy if she's heard any rumors about her son's death.
The rumors that's going around Hampton that everybody keeps coming up to me and saying it was Murdaugh boys.
The Murdaugh boys?
Yes, whoever they are.
Okay.
Duncan didn't ask any follow-up questions to this. He doesn't appear to connect the rumors with anything Stephen's other relatives said just hours before. He asked Sandy a few more questions, and Sandy told Duncan about a young man who worked at Bilo who was making Stephen feel uncomfortable recently. In his case notes, Stephen writes about the man at Bilo and suggested that another detective follow up by tracking him down. There was no mention of the Murdaugh rumor in his notes, again.
Right. JC does. She's like, I know nothing about nothing. No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I if maybe I took it wrong, but I feel like just the Duncan having something that he wouldn't want exposed. Or maybe the family member. I don't know. I'm going down many rabbit holes.
There's a lot of rabbit holes for sure. But his
like,
mom, I mean, this for me though, this is his mom. This isn't a stranger. This isn't a cousin,
right.
or but this is
going to be the person that's going to know you like the back of their hand.
Right.
That's going to feel in their heart, even if you're not with them, that something is wrong with their child.
I mean, I just and the way that she says it, even, you know, it to me sets off like, well, it doesn't sound like she knows these people, but she's been told this, so she's telling me this because she thinks it's important information, and she wants justice. You know, she wants the people who did this to her son to be found and brought to justice.
Right.
You know, that's what it sounds like to me coming from her. Is that, you know, and not her making up anything or trying to, you know, get back at this, you know, the Murdaugh family. It really does. She sounds innocent. I know it's a grocery store, but I guess some people don't.
Yeah, I just put it up there. I didn't know that. I kind of thought of it as like a quick trip that we have here, like a gas station type thing. But
I guess I'm curious now in more episodes if, you know, with the information, you know, when they followed up with the person that, you know, supposedly harassed Stephen, because we have to say supposed for the moment, but
yeah,
because if that person was harassing him and you know, we don't know how, obviously it was unwanted attention in some way, you know, they could have easily, you know, followed him that night, or I don't know. So many things. So many thoughts.
Crazy.
And it is interesting that Duncan isn't the one following up about the person who harassed Stephen. It's someone else. He asked someone else to do it. So why did he take himself off? Not the case, but why did he take it? Why didn't he go do it? I mean, he's been talking to everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
Again,
I mean, the last couple of people anyway. You know what I mean? Like he talked to the mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't he go do that? Because he would have, you know, he had these conversations with the other people, and so he has more information than another random officer he asked to go do this. So again, yeah, like,
yeah,
what's up with Duncan?
Duncan is donutting in other areas. I don't know. So he was killed on the 8th. His family had his wake on the 11th, July 11th, 2015. They did have an open casket so that people could see what was done to him, which I think is bold on the family's part. Like, not that they don't have every right to do it, but as a family, like, I couldn't do that. I wouldn't. I get weird about, like, if it was my loved one, I don't think I could handle that. But
Yeah, I mean, I get why. I think, you know, the mom was probably maybe, I'm assuming that the mom, being the matriarch, you know, she was the one that made that decision, you know. I mean, I'm sure she talked about it with the rest of the family, but in the end, you know, it was, I, I mean, it could be her wanting whoever did it, maybe they would come to the funeral and she could try and see. I don't, I'm trying to put my words together here. Sometimes people do that. They'll have the open casket when it's such a brutal crime in order to provoke a
like, look what
response
you,
from,
yeah,
look what
what
you
you did to my
did.
son.
And
And
then,
also, if
yeah.
there was investigators that were like, sometimes they go to those.
Yes.
And to see if there's anybody, you know, having a weird reaction or like an unhealthy, like, obsession about the body.
Someone who stays the whole time, who maybe stays really close to maybe the mom or really close to the
Very
casket, or is just
talkative, very asking questions about the case.
Exactly. So I think that may have been some of the reasons why they had it open. And I mean, I know she was proud of her baby boy, you know, and I mean, he was a good kid. He was doing all the right things and going to nursing school and all that. So it's really sad. I want them to find whoever did it, you know, and get justice. You know.
Yeah. And then so wake was 3 days later, and then the 3 deaths, or just the first, was it just the first? Let me look back at it.
What were you looking for?
The death certificates.
Oh, yeah, that all 3 of them? Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so according to the death certificate, the time of injury was 3 a.m. Stephen's actual or presumed time of death was also 3 a.m. Cause of death, blunt force trauma, probably pedestrian motor vehicle accident, struck by a side mirror. I think so far that's kind of where we end off. And she does say that she's talked to the mom at this point because they just reopened his case for a new investigation. and that the mom just really wants justice. She
Right.
made one quote that I wrote down was, "The media wants a story. I just want justice," is what his mom said.
Mm.
So.
And there was one other thing I have written down that she did. She mentioned in this Maggie's cell phone, where it was found. They found it along a road near the hunting lodge. Did you catch? It was at the end. It was at the end, like towards the end of this episode. They recently found it, or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Maggie's cell phone, and I don't know the name of the road. I'm sorry. She may have said it.
Sandy
Yeah.
Run Road.
I'd have to listen to the it's in the second episode. Oh, also, I have something else written down. I just read.
Oh, I found it.
Oh, you did find it? Okay.
Also, it took the Attorney General's office 2 months to charge Paul Murdaugh with 3 felonies after that boat crash that killed Mallory. And then at this point, she said that she didn't know if anyone would be charged with Maggie and Paul's homicides. But she said she was going to wait and see on that one. And then when this one aired, when episode 2 aired, the Murdaugh family had came out with a statement saying that they were offering a reward, like a large reward.
$100,000. It was 2 of the Murdaugh family members. It was Alex and I want to say Randy. I think it was Randy. Yeah, there was 2 that were offering.
Oh yeah, no.
Am I right or close to it?
Release a statement about a reward. They're offering information in the high-profile investigation. Alec and his son Buster offered the $100,000 in another update. And then Maggie Murdaugh's cell phone was found along a rural South Carolina road just outside the family's hunting property, where they were found dead. So, this and that, right after it, she does mention that that's where, that's what led to this investigation, like Paul and Maggie's, is what led to them reopening.
Right.
Stevens. I just didn't connect the.
So, someone said in episode 2 about Steven. I want to say it was his mom. I think, yeah, because she said more to Duncan than what you played on here. That Steven had recently, like he's always studied really hard, like he was totally focused on, his studies and stuff. But that recently he had been cutting classes, like something was like maybe going on. It was really quick, and I just happened to catch that. So I'm more inclined, to believe that someone was bothering him, maybe, because if you're being harassed, that's over a period of time that does start to affect your work, and even when you're at home, family, whatever. I mean, it does affect you.
Well, not only that, but if it is, like members, like that older son of the Murdaughs, like he's got a probably a good group of friends behind him. He's got a lot of power. I would imagine that's intimidating and scary and would make anybody want to run for the hills.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear more episodes. I know JC's like, I know the answers, I know. She's like holding her hand down, like, don't type anything.
Yeah. 3 generations of solicitors in that region. Yep.
They do.
Yep. Just making sure I didn't miss anything.
JC, 10 I don't know if I could do 10 episodes at once. I mean, maybe.
Could you imagine how long we'd have to live stream for to cover all those? Because I'd go down too many rabbit holes.
We do.
I think I do want to do 3 episodes for the next, because they're generally like 18 minutes a piece. So that would be just under an hour to listen to 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So
that's fine with me.
Plan for Monday again, and we'll do episodes 3, 4, and 5. But otherwise, if you guys have any other questions, put them in chat. But yeah, I'm really curious. I have many rabbit holes going on in my brain, and JC's caused a few more during the live stream.
Right?
So I'm just kind of like,
we're questioning our lives.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like, whoa. But yeah, I think I am going to have to make a flow chart, because holy Toledos. Holy Toledos.
I mean, just from the first episode alone with all the names.
So much information.
Yeah.
So much. All right. So, replay crew, if you have any questions or any comments or anything you want covered in the next one, hit me up in DMs, Twitter, Instagram, or my email, which is all linked in the description. Like I said, next Monday we'll do episodes 3, 4, and 5. And I look forward to talking to you guys about those next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.